The old television flickered in the corner of a dusty village living room. On the screen, the Super Eagles of Nigeria lifted the 1980 African Cup of Nations. Green and white flags waved, drums rolled, and the sound of victory filled the air. Grandpa Ajay leaned forward, his eyes glowing with memory. He raised his walking stick like a microphone and shouted with
Those were real players.
Christian Chukwu. His old friends nodded and laughed. One murmured, never awablo. Another called, Henry Nwosu Nko? A woman's voice joined in, Okala. Sylvanus Akpala. Grandpa Ajay laughed again. Nobody like Best Ogdegb or Adikai Amiesamaka. Gone are those days. Supporting our team then was something to live for. The laughter faded. A brief silence hung in the air. I just hope this team will beat Angola and Cameroon, Grandpa Ajay said softly. It's been ages since we qualified for the World Cup. Suddenly his grandson burst into the room holding a football. Grandpa, he shouted, hugging him. Where are you heading to, my boy? To play football with my friends. Make sure you don't hurt yourself, Grandpa warned. One of the old men chuckled. Let him hurt himself. It's part of the game. Grandpa looked at him. Just like you did and couldn't play again? The room erupted with laughter. Another friend added, he was looking at Aya Rizika's daughter that day. The laughter grew louder. Moments later, the boy's mother entered from the market, carrying a basket.
You old men should not corrupt my Oyinbo Pepe son,
she said. More laughter. The sound of family, joy, and distant football commentary filled the evening. That night, the boy sat beside his grandpa under the humming ceiling fan.
Grandpa, you said you'd take me to Lagos next month to watch the Green Eagles versus Angola.
Yes, my boy, we will go.
Grandpa smiled faintly. I don't want to give myself hypertension, my son. We can watch it on TV. But first, we must beat Gabon away. The boy frowned. But Grandpa, I want to see Rashidi Yekini and Okwaraji play. Yekini scores goals that look simple but so magnificent. And Okwaraji, I like his dreadlocks and his style. He walked outside quietly, kicking his ball. The camera followed the children on the dusty street, 7 years old and younger, chasing a worn football. The boy dribbled past his friends and scored. Cheers and laughter echoed through the evening sky. Weeks passed. Nigeria faced Gabon. Across the nation, televisions glowed in small rooms and beer parlors. When the final whistle blew, the score was Gabon 2, Nigeria 1.
Yekini is not in this game, why?
Another slammed his ticket on the counter. In homes and bars, frustration boiled.
These ones can't go anywhere.
Go anywhere, someone shouted. Old grandma tired legs. Another replied,
We can still qualify if we beat Angola at home and draw Cameroon away.
A voice cut through the crowd. Not without Yekini, we know they go anywhere. People walked away, unsatisfied. At the Nigerian Football Association office in Lagos, the chairman's phone rang. He stood to attention. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir. It will not happen again, sir. We will qualify for Italia 90. Yes, Your Excellency.
He ended the call, anger flooding his face. He faced the board.
Gentlemen, enough is enough. A new technical advisor has been contacted. He arrives in 2 days.
We must qualify Italia 90 and AFCON. This embarrassment must end.
He slammed the table. Papers scattered. 2 days later, Coach Clemens Westerhoff arrived at Murtala Muhammad Airport. The heat of Lagos wrapped around him like fire. He wiped his forehead and fanned himself as an NFA official held a cardboard sign with his name. They shook hands, and he was driven through the chaotic Lagos streets toward his hotel. At the NFA meeting room the next morning, Westerhoff spoke with confidence. I will take Nigeria to the World Cup, he said. The board members smiled for the first time in months. Hope flickered again. On the training ground, Westerhoff watched silently as the players jogged and passed the ball. Sweat poured under the hot sun. The next day he took charge. All right, guys, he shouted, 5 laps round the field. Groans followed. One player whispered, This new Oyinbo won't kill us for training. Another replied, Abi you no see? Okwaraji spoke quietly, anyone way dem bring, not a play for my country and make my people proud matter. The team respected him instantly. August 1989. Nigeria vs Angola. A critical World Cup qualifier at the National Stadium, Lagos. More than 100,000 fans poured into a stadium built for 80,000. Drums rolled. Songs rose. Flags waved. Excitement turned into madness as crowds kept pushing to get in. Grandpa Ajayf and his grandson sat high in the stands, the boy's eyes wide with wonder. It was his first time at the stadium. Below, fans still rushed through the gates. Heat, sweat, and pressure filled the air. People began to faint, some crushed in the chaos. Ambulances raced back and forth. The tiny clinic inside the stadium overflowed. 5 people were confirmed dead even before kickoff. Grandpa shielded his grandson's eyes from the scene. Don't look, my boy. Just watch the field. The referee blew his whistle. The match began. The crowd roared. Nigeria won a penalty early on and missed. Groans echoed across the stadium. Minutes later, Stephen Keshi rose high and headed home a goal. The stadium erupted. Nigeria 1, Angola 0. Halftime. In the locker room, players gasped for air and poured water on their heads. Okwaraji sat quietly, breathing hard. Second half. 10 minutes to the end. Suddenly, Okwaraji collapsed, far from the ball. Samson Sayeja was the first to reach him, then jumped back in panic. Foam filled Okwaraji's mouth. His teeth clenched. He was fighting for life. The medical team rushed in, but the ambulance would not start. 4 men had to push it before it roared to life. Grandpa, what's happening to Okwaraji? The boy asked. He probably hurt his leg. He'll be fine, Grandpa said, hiding the fear in his eyes. The game continued. Nigeria won by a goal. But the celebration was muted. That night, the news broke. Samuel Okwaraji was dead. The next morning, the nation wept. At newsstands, people crowded to read the headlines. Yekini stood among them, a newspaper in hand. He read the words and went still. Tears filled his eyes. 15 days later, Nigeria faced Cameroon in Yaoundé. Chaos returned. Players refused to board the military plane until their bonuses were paid. Hours of argument followed before they finally flew into the night. Accommodation was poor. The hosts wanted them uncomfortable. Match day came. The game was rough. Keshi was fouled hard in midfield. The Egyptian referee reached for his pocket. Sunday Egboib shoved a Cameroonian player, and instead the referee flashed a red card at him. Nigerians shouted in anger. Later, goalkeeper David Ngadiga was injured. 3 team doctors ran around in confusion. The referee looked at Westerhoff. The coach raised his hand in frustration. Substitute Alloy came in, and Cameroon scored. After the match, the referee approached Westerhoff. Man, he said quietly. I have a lot of work to do, Westerhoff replied. He walked away, determined to rebuild everything. Weeks later, at the National Stadium in Lagos, a new statue stood tall, Samuel Okwaraji, forever in motion, his hair flowing, his spirit frozen in time. Grandpa Ajayf stood before it with his grandson. Crowds gathered around, laying flowers. The sun set slowly behind the stadium roof. Grandpa spoke softly. Okwaraji, you were only a fleeting part of our team, but you served with a true heart. You played for honor, not money. Your first appearance at this stadium was your last, but your love for Nigeria will be remembered by generations. He looked at his grandson with pride. Those who witnessed your dedication will tell your story forever. The boy placed a flower at the statue's feet. Grandpa, one day we will win the Nations Cup again for you. We will win the Olympics, and we will win the World Cup in my lifetime for you. I promise. Grandpa smiled, holding his hand. Together they walked away slowly as the camera pulled back, the statue standing tall against the evening sky, a symbol of sacrifice, of dreams, of a heart that stopped for Nigeria.